manda aquí la clave. Este ritmo guaguanco, esto es lo que existe. Y también mi chamaco, nadie nos resiste. Aquí estamos bravos, la chema tan brava. Esta vida es brava, y yo también soy bravo. Por eso lo que repica son los cueros. Aquí lo que suena a fuego. Mueve la abuela el pescadero. Esto lo mueve el aduanero. Norte a sur, lo vemos viendo. La orilla del mar, nos ve sonriendo. Y yo sé lo que tenemos no es para juego. Y esto es divino. Por eso lo que hacemos gritar, tumbarle con ritmo letales.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing out there? Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. This is Wanda, your host of Salty Coffee. Salty Coffee is here to empower, inspire, entertain, and inform. Our topics include parenting, relationship, finances, education, workforce, and many more, including music. I'm 51 years old, born in Brooklyn, raised in Washington Heights, and now living in the Boogie Down Bronx. You will enjoy a few minutes of peace and joy. So tonight, I have a couple announcements, but we're going to talk about those announcements later. And you're going to meet a person who I just met recently. Oh, well, I guess you guys want to see my fro, right? My fro. Hold on. Give me a minute. You know me. Hi. How's everyone doing? Who's here? That DJ girl is here. She's here, everyone. But let me tell you something. I met that girl Curly, a DJ, female DJ. I met her in person in South Carolina, and I was going to interview all queens on deck, but things happened very quickly, very fast, and we weren't able to do that. But they all said yes to Salty Coffee, and we will be doing interviews individually. Hi, Chrome. Chrome is in the house on Twitch. Welcome all the Twitch followers. Welcome all of the YouTube followers. Welcome all of the Facebook followers. If you are here, please leave a comment below so that that girl Curly will know that you're here to support her. And let me tell you, this woman is amazing. And Salty Coffee, we did something different this time around, something that you've never seen before, something that you're going to enjoy. So if you have little kids in the room, put them away. If you have to change the diapers or clean the house, just hurry up and do it, because it's going to be a quite interesting and long story. But one thing that I do want to say, in the event of learning about this female DJ, that girl Curly, she inspired me on doing something different this time around. And I took her advice. She doesn't even know she did it, but she did it. And I took it and I flew with it. And I'm excited about it because you're going to learn, you know how they say deep house music? This is going to be a deep Salty Coffee episode, right? So let me put her up. Let me put her up on the screen. Hey!
Hi.
Oh, okay. You're funny. So how are you today, Curly? Don't be nervous. This is your family and friends that are here with you, and it's just me. And we talked. So what we did was I met with her at her place where she plays, where she grew up, because I wanted to get a sense of the area. I wanted to get a sense of, how Lower East Side, New York, right? Her mom migrated to the United States in the 50s, in 1951, around there, to the Lower East Side. So could you imagine Boricua, raised in Lower East Side, the melting pot of New York City, like literally the melting pot. So one of the conversations that we had, do you want to say anything before I start?
No.
It's funny. You know, I didn't realize how shy she was. I'm shy, but she's double shy. So, and that's fine. But you're going to get to know the true story of that girl, Curly. I hope that I do her well. And I hope that, she enjoys it. And respectfully, we wanted to take 1 minute so that we can dedicate this episode to those DJs that have, you know, left us here to deal with Curly. So let's take a moment of silence. Wow, that was a minute. And probably not a minute, but was close to a minute. So when I spoke, so in this interview, we had 7 segments, 7 videos, and then we have the shout outs from all of her friends and family. I just want to apologize in advance that you're going to hear planes, you're going to hear raps, but try to listen to the words that are coming out of Curly's mouth because she is full of knowledge, experience, and I learned so much from her because I grew up in Washington Heights, and my underground music was totally different, than her life as a dancer, first and foremost. So here's a little bit about where she was during that time, and how she expresses um, the beauty of her being raised by her Puerto Rican mom and her brother in the Lower East Side. Upbringing in the Lower East Side and how you saw the dynamics of your friendships, your friends, and you mentioned.
Yeah, it's interesting because one, not many people really ask you how far can you go that justifies who I am today. So, and when it comes to my mom and my brother Raymond, they were definitely the influences in my life. My mom, growing up, I always saw her happy, pleasant, always wanted to listen to Spanish music, socializing with her friends, to the point where my mom brought me into some of the after hours in her life when she was younger, or when I was younger. And I can remember, clear as day, the music and the people,
right.
As for me growing up with friends, that's a different story, because I was more of a loner child opposed to being like the next average family that has brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
and they were doing so much together. It wasn't really like that. Everybody was really more entertained by what they had to do with themselves, and it is what it is today.
So you heard it straight from the source. It is what it is today. So do you want to add anything more on that, or how? No, she's so nervous. You'll be fine.
No, I pretty much narrowed it down. I mean, there's so much to, but I pretty much narrowed it down to
Yeah.
where I'm at today, why I'm here today. But yeah.
So she was surprised when I asked her you know, let's go deep. Like, how did you grow up here? Were you born here? And she's like, well, wait a minute now. Nobody's ever asked me to go that far. So I appreciate that she was open enough to take it that far, because I just wanted to know. I think something is on your. You have me on speaker. It's just echoing. Something's echoing.
I don't have anything, but let me just make sure that this is. I don't. You good? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me just
So
make sure. Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. I just hear myself echoing somewhere.
Okay. I'm gonna. Yeah. While you're doing that, just
Okay.
let me make sure.
So I also wanted to get the source of the transitioning. Like, how did she become a dancer, and what was that all about, and who influenced her? And here's a little clip about her mentioning the nightclubs and clubs and the underground, the whole definition of what underground meant for the Lower East Side.
Um, and I might have been 12, 13 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very young, and that's when the streets and music was more my life opposed to living. And then
So were you one of those dancers back in the
I was one of those street dancers.
80s, 70s?
Yeah, I'm definitely a.
So you
70s.
definitely started as a dancer.
Oh, I'm a dancer before DJ. Everybody knows that. I that's my living quote and my dying quote. Dancing, if I can dance, I would be dancing, but I can't. You know? So I took another route. But as a dancer, that's where, the garage and the loft and all these clubs, Paradise.
Name them all, cause we're gonna do history right now.
Well, okay, let's see. We have Paradise Garage, we have the loft, and those are general because those are where a lot of the molding started. But you have Lazarus, you have the Ones, you have Gotham West, you have Bonds International, Latin Quarters, the Pyramid, you had ozone layer.
This is before. This is like 80s.
This is 80s.
80s.
We're talking about 80s.
Heavy 80s.
Yeah, we're talking about 667. These are lounges that I'm getting into. There's so many.
And before those, legitimate official clubs, you had a lot of underground too, right? So you would go to underground part, was that more of a Bronx
They called
thing?
it underground because you only had a limited. There was a limited amount of people that knew, or if it was more of a word of mouth, because like then, but we didn't have internet, and we didn't have
social media.
We had beepers, but even with that, it was still more of a word of mouth, or wherever we wind up at, we would exchange information about what's happening next or what's gonna happen. But yeah, it was definitely word of mouth.
It was definitely word of mouth. And that's the definition of underground. So do you recall the ones that Chrome mentioned? 1018, Funhouse, Broadway 96. Oh my God, Chrome, you were out there, huh? Oh, she's out. So one of the things that I was interested in was to make sure that she described the nightclubs and the dancing, and how, she said she started at 12 dancing in the streets. And I always wondered, how could that be a young girl, a lady, dancing in the streets with the challenges and all of, who knows what the other dancers were thinking, but she made it a community. They love her to death. and she was known as one of the best dancers. Not I'm not sure necessarily if it was on Lower East Side only, but you're good. You
Yeah,
okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if the next segment talks about that, but was that a challenge for you to be the only female girl, or were you were not the only female girl
Well,
dancer,
I
right?
was not. No, I would never say I was the only female. No, there was plenty of females out there, except that I consider myself one of those daring dancers that didn't care what the guys were doing. I was wind up doing just as much as they were doing.
Okay.
So it was just more. I was such a tomboy back then, and everybody knows that. I was only more for the dance floor. So to be honest, the way I see the women dancing today, I didn't see it back then, because when you're dancing, you're not really, yes, you're learning from everybody else, but at that time, it wasn't more like, oh, I want to dance like her. It was just more like, let me be free.
Great.
It was my escape from wherever I wanted to be. So, anybody that knew me back then can tell you that it was hard for them to get me off the dance floor. I just love the dance floor.
And I agree with you because it's totally different now. You see us in our 50s going to your events, and we're dancing, we're enjoying the music, we're feeling it. It's a spiritual thing, more so than trying to get somebody's phone number.
No, true. It is true.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that said, once I went deep into the nightclub scene, because I try to dig, and then she loosened up a little bit more. Now she's gonna talk about the people that she actually listened to while she was dancing, and how that influenced her to to be, become who she is today.
When I became a DJ, they were starting more the online. It was more online streaming when when I became a DJ. We were in that time,
Okay.
time frame where
Really?
yes, online had just became popular. Streaming was popular.
Really?
Yeah, I was on a show called Pre-Party Radio
Okay.
for 7 years.
Wow.
And before I got onto Pre-Party Radio, I was given the opportunity to play for the first time online on a show called Face to Base,
Okay.
which right now is called Face to Base Records online. Face to Base Records online, and they gave me the first opportunity to play at their location in Jersey.
So you had never played at a party or anything?
No, I did an online party.
Get out.
And that was great, because back then the numbers, I have 45 people in the room for my
Okay.
first day, which was because everybody was like, I guess, very happy for me.
Yeah.
And I felt the love, and from that point on, and then I was given the opportunity to play at Von King Park in
Okay.
Brooklyn.
Okay. I've been there.
Raz gave me that opportunity. That was actually was that the first outdoor?
Because I saw
Or it
you
might have been
dancing
It might have been the second one,
photo.
because there's another one that I did at another park. Oh man, Ooh, bad memory.
It's okay. But you can go back to the online
Yeah, the
segment.
online.
So how did they find out about you? Because
Because me as a dancer, I know a lot of people.
okay.
As a dancer, I've met many people. So when they found that I was becoming a DJ, or I was getting a DJ, you always have curiosity. Curiosity is one of the main keys in the world we live in,
Right.
to see how good a person is or not.
Right.
It is what it is. And for me to take that step, I felt good about myself, that I was able to say I can do it. But it's not an easy thing to do. But when you're looking at curiosity, I was.
And you would say it's not easy thing to do because of the people who were on the leadership role, like, you know, it was
Not
predominantly men.
but you don't have, not only the leadership, because at the very beginning, it was more like this is a man's world as a DJ.
Of course.
Because I really didn't see many. As a dancer, I never had the opportunity to hear a female DJ. I was more into the more dominated man. And then that's just, you follow the crowd, you're young, you follow the crowd, and the music just stuck with me. I just stuck with certain things, certain people. Even when I went to after hours, it was just different music, different people, different places.
Right.
Because it does not apply for everybody. So I was a very universal person, very universal. I was able to go to different parties. And so with the being online and knowing that my inspirational people will be listening, and then you have people that just want to hear you, to see where you are, it was mind-boggling and nervous because they're not really in front of you, but you know they are. Because online was the World Wide Web.
Right.
Anybody can hear you. You just don't know who. So I was always concerned about that. Like, you never know who's watching, who's listening. Watch what the hell you do. Watch what you say. Watch what you play. So I was very, I've been an observant person since I was a dancer, because I used to observe the other dancers.
Right.
And look and see what was more the trendiness, because we learn from each other. I don't just come on the dance floor and say, hey, this is the... No, we learn from each other because everything has something.
Right.
You know, I was into gymnastics, I was into martial arts, so I had a little bit of flow of everything.
Right.
When it comes to stretching and all that stuff. So the same thing with the DJ world. I took what I was able to learn from others and implement them towards me, but in the way I would express how they do things. So, and it was a tough ride because not every set I did was perfect, you know, but as I played so much that I was so determined to learn that anybody that you may ask that may know me from back then, they'll tell you I was on a lot of radio stations. I played for a lot of people so that I can get to meet people, learn different genres of music.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's amazing what the World Wide Web can do for you. And I took all of that stuff and I took it really, really personal for me, because I'm like, this is my only way to keep in touch with my musical world.
Right.
Because I can't dance the way I used to. So I'm that energy and, you know, and that was just one part. But then, you know, after the years went by and I had a heart attack, that's another thing. But, you know, that's just happened 2 years ago. So, you know, you get pulled back, you go forward, you get pulled back. But I always kept it going.
And when you're playing and you see people, have you seen a curly girl out there doing the moves? Like,
yeah, man. There's a couple out there.
Isn't that
fucking, excuse my language.
That's okay.
You can block that bleep, 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 bleep. Today now, I am so honored to see the women that are doing their thing. I'm like flabbergasted, because if you're not really looking, you don't see.
Right.
But now that I pull back and I'm the DJ looking at the dance floor, and even when I'm not DJing and I'm on the dance floor and I see the younger generation or just certain people doing stuff that I would be doing today, because I still do my handstands.
Right.
I still do a split. I still do all of that, but I just don't do it because of my health. There's certain things that I just don't have to overdo no more.
Right.
You know, but when I get into it, you know. But to see the women now, or the girls, the young ladies.
The ladies, yeah.
Because that's what they are. They're young ladies rocking the floor, just as good as a man. And I'm happy.
And she is happy.
Very much so. Very much so.
So recently, how do you feel going now that after COVID? Like, did you have a hard time, or was it okay for you because you have your initial experience in the beginning was online, you know, and you did it for 7 years. That's remarkable.
Well, with everything that was going on, and especially like I said, everything was online, and then it's kind of like pushing forward because COVID just happened, but in between, not COVID beginning and getting to that point, I mean, it's a rocky road for a lot of us, or because you still get blockage somehow. I mean, it's everything and anything you do in life.
Right.
It's just not the DJ world. It's just living in general. Just being a person is a challenge because we are all dealing individually with different stuff. However, I was just grateful to say that there was plenty of individuals that patted me on the back and really continue to say, yo, do it. You could do it. Don't give up. Because in most cases, they say, oh, you're going to be a DJ, and then you give it up in a couple of years or whatever. And I'm
Right.
like, no, I need my outlet. You know me, I'm a people person. I like to socialize with my friends. So if I can keep in touch with them, then, and you know what? I've been inspired just to continue to do more, and I'm going to continue to do more. That's all I can do. I mean, I'm just grateful for
And you're doing it. You're doing it. And the next couple of segments, we're gonna get into that. That transition of knowing that you would not be able to dance like you want to, but you still do, like, internally. And here in this segment, you talk about how that transition made you who you are today, because and how grateful you are that you're still able to connect, not being able to dance, but you still connected, like, without the music there is no dancing. um
pretty
it
much in some
sort of
sense,
kind of, yeah.
when we think
um
about it, let's just say we didn't have no music, period. We'll be
right.
isolated individuals that will not be able to. I mean, music is powerful.
Very.
It comes a very long way before I came along, way before you came, our parents. Music has always been the source of something or someone. So without music, I don't know what I would do. I
So,
really.
I know the feeling. So here's the segment where you talk about that transition. So tell me a little bit about. So you were on the dance floor. Tell me, like, what DJs were out there, and how did you from the dance floor go to, like, DJing? Like, who was out there that you can shout out today that's still around, maybe?
Oh
Perhaps.
no, I mean you're absolutely right because so many people has left us. I mean, Frankie Knuckles. I mean, he was an amazing guy. But my growing up, listening to music, becoming the dancer that you had well, we'll start off with like the Gotham West, which are DJs that we have now, DJ Devo.
Right.
You have Kenny Carpenter. You have John Mateo, which he was young at the time, but these are DJs that I grew up with. Or Louis Vega. I've seen him since I've been paying attention to Louis since I was, I say 15, 16 years old. You have, I did mention Kenny Carpenter. You have David Mancuso. You have Teddy Peterson, and you have. Let me just go back. Let me just hit some names. It's been a while, and my memory is shot.
And they were all house music, like.
Well, back then it wasn't really like a. Me personally, I never called it any genre.
Right.
It was just something music that inspired me to move. It wasn't. Yeah, of course we had the freestyle, generation. We have all of those, but to me then, as a dancer, it wasn't like, oh, I'm dancing to house. It was just the style that I brought me into, or whatever it put me into, and it was an inspirational. As a dancer, you can't even explain. There's no explanations. It's just what comes out of you.
Yeah.
What comes out of you at the moment, you know? Now, as a DJ, becoming the DJ that I am today, well, the reason why is because I wind up with a tumor in my leg. That was 9.5 inches long and 4.5 inches wide. And they had to remove my quad muscle, which is pretty tough because it was literally the length of my leg. So, and it was going upward. So they had to take it out, and that's what stopped me from dancing. Getting back into the DJ world after a couple of years of not dancing and in a little hibernation mode, you want to call it, I wind up back on the boardwalk one day, and I bump into one of my dear friends who's a dear friend to me today. His name is Chino 3 and George. They're dancers. And I bumped into them and they were dancing, and next thing you know, I wind up back into the dance mode. 1989, 1991, my daughter was not born in 92. Then I wind up working with the Department of Homeless Services. I wind up taking like a 16-year gap.
Wow.
From 91 all the way to 2006, 2005, you know, with work and changing. I was like literally outside of the music world or whatever until I wind up bumping into them, and then my whole life changed all over again. It was like, well, you got a whole new chapter in your life. You know, I wind up not working after that. And then I'm here. This is where I'm at. But it's been tough. It's been a very interesting ride. It's not as easy as people make, you know.
It is not easy. Because not being able to dance when dance is everything for you, and it's what keeps you, you know, motivated, inspired, and for the love of music, you know, I can only imagine. You know, I can't even.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I'm listening to it, I mean, of course, I've missed out on so many names. You know, when you're under pressure.
No pressure here.
No, there was no pressure. I'm only kidding, but you know, it's just so mind-boggling because there's so much I'm missing. There is a lot of stuff that I'm missing, and you know what? There's so many people that fulfill those missing gaps because there's things that I don't remember, to be honest, what I do on the dance floor. And I got people who come up to me and like, oh my God, I can remember when you was this. Well, we couldn't get you off the dance floor. And like Lady Dahlia, she was like, oh girl, you was all over the place. Like these are people that know my journey. They really know where I come from. You know,
right.
So just to hear and to know that all these DJs, I mean, and I missed out on Larry Levan, and it was just something about the music that just kept me centered somewhere. You know what I mean? It's just like this guiding light, you know? Because sometimes some music will take you to a different aspect. However, I'm just grateful for the music that was instilled in me.
Right.
You know?
And when you were doing those real things, like life things, like work and family, were you still listening to music? Is that something that you just couldn't?
You know what? I was in and out of music. And I would have to probably say no. I wasn't really listening to too much music, but I was, you know, I would still have my own set of music at work to listen to calm me down or whatever. But I had definitely dedicated the 16 and a half years of, you know, 9 to 5, do what I gotta do, pay, you know.
Right.
But then things just went the other way, and it just, you know, now I have to start from the beginning again. Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm at, you know.
And before we get to the next little segment, this segment I left it right after this one because this is the one thing that a lot of people may want to know. First and foremost, how you got your name. So I don't know if you know this, but I've always gotten your name wrong, and people have told me it's that girl Curly, and I'm like, yeah, that curly girl, the girl's curls. You know what? The sounds of a dancer.
Yo, it's a tongue twister.
So tell us how you got that name.
Oh, would you really like to know how I
Yes.
got that name? Wow. He always laughs and always thinks back. But I got my name from Danny Crivet.
Okay.
And nobody knows who Danny Crivet is. Look him up. 718 Sessions.
Okay.
I used to have, or I became part of, a party called Dat Party.
Okay.
DATPARTY.
Okay.
Dat Party. And when I became a member that wind up becoming partners with them, I used to be their promoter.
Oh.
And
Look at you.
when I would promote their parties, I would give out flyers. And it was a party for a Dat Party.
DAT.
DAT.
Got it.
So then one day, giving out flyers, I gave a flyer out to Danny Crivet. And Danny Crivet was like, I'm not calling you Curly no more. I'm calling you that girl. I'm calling you that girl because every time I turn around, I would give him a party for that party. So I was like, oh. So when I became a DJ and everybody was interested in knowing what was I going to call myself, because of course when I became a DJ, it was like, oh boy, here comes Curly. That's going to be a DJ. Like, what is she going to call herself? What's going to be her name? Because it's, it's a process. It's not, you don't just become a DJ. There's a whole process to everything you do to give yourself a title.
Of course.
And before I gave myself a title, I said, let me learn the craft first. And then come, So sure enough, I was like, I'm going to call myself DJ Dat Gurl. DJ Dat Gurl Curly.
Oh.
Because it just fit. It just fit. Because I had a party called Dat Party, and now you got a girl that's called DJ Dat Gurl. So that's where I got it.
Okay. So you will. I apologize in advance for all the times that I got your name wrong.
Oh, please come on! People still calling me Girly Girl, Curly Girl, or Dat Gurl, or DJ Curly. They'll just. But you know what? It comes from love.
Yeah.
It's just.
It definitely comes from love. For all the time I got it wrong. And did you have curls? Are you a curly person?
Yeah, no, everybody knew I always had curls, and I was always had curly hair, and it's funny because of the way I used to curl my body as a dancer. Because I used to do these back bends I would literally like go to my legs and flip over, and so I used to curl myself. So they used to call me Curly. So I just stuck with the name for many, many years.
That makes more sense.
Yes. Now some people call me Straight, or they'll call me Brady, or because now it's like I barely have my curls out.
and one of the things that I truly 100% admire about you is your attention to details. And that's something that I learned from you in the couple of days that we've met, from the time we were in South Carolina to now. You have the ability to look at something, observe it, and pay attention to the details. And I admire that about you. And one of the things you had mentioned in conversation in South Carolina is the quality of sound. And this next segment, you talk about that. And I think it's very important for everyone who's listening to pay attention, because this is something that not many DJs would do. And this is something that specifically female DJs will never do. And we need to find out and do more research whether to know if you're the only one that does it. So here's...
Oh, I doubt it very much, because there's a couple out there.
Okay. Okay, well, we need to know that. We need to know that. So here's the segment, Put the Needle on the Record. So you actually mentioned that you build your own speakers.
Well, let me tell you something. With the people that taught me how to, which, I really have not given them credit yet, which I should be. It all started with my ex-boyfriend, who was a DJ, and through friends that I met, they were the ones who actually inspired me even more, or teaching me what was right from wrong when it came to DJing. So, and of course, one of them is Ace House Nation, and you have Ace, you have Chino 3, you have Elvin Reyes, down to, Louis. These people have really influenced me, not only to play music, but to learn the quality of sound that you're playing with. Because a lot of people don't really, when they go to a club, some of them, and I really can't say all of them, but I know in certain clubs, some of them just go to hear some music, but they're not really listening to the quality of the music.
Right.
Then you got the dancers that are really listening to the music because they want to dance, and the quality of the sound has to move their feet. So anyway, with Ace and them, as I learn how to play turntables and put the needle on the record, as they say, because believe it or not, I'm backwards when it comes to that. I was doing CDs first and then vinyl. But because my brother always had vinyl, I knew what vinyl was. But you don't know until you really listen, and they tell you put the needle on the record and pay attention to what's coming out those speakers. Because when you hear somebody singing, you want to hear the vocals. You want to make sure you hear the words. Sometimes there's songs where you hear and like, what is she saying?
Yeah.
Like, what's the words?
You have mentioned the analog versus digital.
Right.
Yeah.
So analog and digital is two different things, and depends on what type of files you're listening to. So me, the tomboy that I am, because everybody knows I'm a tomboy, I was so eager to learn about analog because it was so interesting how music was divided into the realms that we listen to music. And as a dancer, it was important to me because, like I said, even when Louis and Kenny Carpenter or David it was just the way they played a song and how the song would come out, and it would make you, like, your energy and your spirit would just mix. So I decided to learn how to build my own double 15s, JBL double 15s, which I still have, I still use, and they're still working. But it's amazing because I could set up equipment, take it apart. I know all the wires that come in and out. I think it's important, as a DJ,
to know your equipment.
You learn your equipment. You learn what's in front of you, so you don't feel uncomfortable. Yes, in the beginning, I didn't know what certain buttons were, but that's your teaching process. So what I did was I learned analog. So I have like the whole 5-way system, and I can't do any better than that. That I'm a critical thinker. I'm a critical listener now. Like I find myself, if I find myself in a distorted area, I'm covering my ears, or if it's just not sounding right, I'm frustrated. I can't dance. So I think quality of music is what makes the person move.
That says a lot.
I don't know anybody that can tell me anything different. I just don't. I don't. It was really instilled in me, and it's very important, because you as a person supplying the sound, and you want somebody to really dance comfortable, then you want to give them something good to hear, or the right way to hear it. Just like vinyl. Vinyl is pure. You can't get any better than vinyl. I mean, I honestly sometimes feel I wish I had the muscles or the some stuff to carry some of the records that I have and just go play them. But I can't speak for that time frame. I can see it because now that I'm the collector of records,
Right.
And then I say, well, wow, these people used to carry these crates back and forth, up and down. There was still one DJ in the Lower East Side who probably still has the same crate of records that he played 30 years ago.
Wow.
And some of these records are so hard to find. You don't find these records very much. So, it's amazing what, you learn. It's important.
And you have exposed yourself not enough for us to know that background part of you. I don't know. I'm not a
Well, you know what? DJs don't usually walk around with a bio on their back, and you won't really know. However, if you know them, or somebody that knows them,
right.
Some people will give the correct information opposed to the negative information. But you know what? All of us have a story. Every DJ has a story of why they became what they are today. Whoever it is.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm just grateful that I applied myself accordingly, because it's just not that simple. You just don't throw yourself at something and not understand it, or because you're going to get confused. But you know what? Everybody's
different
thinking process or absorbing process is not as fast as others. It's not.
Right.
But it is a process.
I totally agree. I remember learning how to type in the typewriter.
Exactly. As a secretary, you're doing 50, 60, and you got people that are doing 90 words a minute. Like, everything is a process. Ain't nothing that simple.
135 words a minute here.
All right, I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, but I get tongue twisted. I don't even talk that fast. But yeah, no, it's all right.
So this last segment, there's still more, but this one is the last one with the most important part of your transition, and it asks, the question is, why? How did you get to where you're at now? And it's pretty interesting.
Has to do with music, but I'm just one of those multiple personality disorders. That's what I call it. I call it that.
Listen, no, it's not even a disorder. It's like, it's just normal. And I wish people would not, categorize talented people who are multi-talented in that way.
More than one thing, but it's it comes with any territory you go into. Somebody always is gonna want to be better, which is fine, because that's what pushes you. That's what makes you go forward. Motivation.
Right.
But the motivation and to knock people down, that's two different things.
And who does motivate you? When you wake up in the morning and get up on your bike and good morning. I love it.
You know what? One day I was told that I would talk about God more than I used to.
Really?
Yeah. And I actually do now. And he is my motivator. Because you know what? Having a quadruple bypass is not a game. That is your whole, for me. I'm only talking for me because I'm the one that had the heart attack. I'm the one that had the stent set. I'm the one that went through the surgery. And to see myself deteriorate the way I was deteriorating and not knowing what was the situation, because that's exactly what it was. I didn't know I had a heart problem. And I was going to a doctor very frequently. And then to survive that heart attack and to live here, to tell the truth, every day I wake up is God. And then to see my mom, it's a lot, because my mom is everything to me. So now it's just like,
she's a cutie pie.
Some of the things that are happening now, I don't even miss it, because I got time with my mom. So, but in the interim of all of it, I do so many things. I do as much as I possibly can, as long as I'm busy and it's positive and I'm not taking away from anyone.
Right.
Then I just keep it moving.
So how many children do you have? You have
I
one
have
daughter?
2 children. My daughter's 29 and my son is 35.
Okay.
And I have 8 grandchildren.
Wow.
8
4 and 4, or is it
5 and 3.
Wow.
5 and well, actually, 8 plus 3 additional because my son is remarried.
Okay.
With 3, so it's 11 grandchildren.
Wow.
And if you was to count, it's 7 and 4. Yeah, I think it's 7 and 6 and 5. 6 and 5.
Okay.
6 boys and 5 girls. And my oldest is 21.
That's a big family.
I had my son when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So that tells you, like, I took a break in between, you know, being in the clubs, getting into the clubs, and then starting with my family, and then working, and then coming right back into it, and here I am. So, but you know, I get to enjoy all these generations. My life, my kids' life, my grandkids' life.
Yep. Your mom's
And
too.
my mom's life.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm on a roll right now.
You're on a Tootsie Roll. Tootsie Roll. That's awesome. And that message.
Before I say anything else, my mom.
Oh, hi, Mom.
And she just she's paying attention to everything I'm doing right now. So
did you tell her I'm Oprah?
She just knows
the Spanish version.
She knows that I'm laughing, and she's like looking at me like, what's going on in the living room, in the kitchen over there? But I'm sorry about that. But thank you, though. I that's very touching, that segment right there. Thank you very much.
Your mom is everything. Your family is everything, and that's first and foremost the most important thing.
People don't even get it. They don't even get it. They'll never understand. But I am sure there is somebody else just like me out there that understands exactly what's going on. And, you know, some of us are just not just handed the silver spoon. We just got to deal with what we have to deal with.
That's true. So the next 50,000 clips are shout out from your friends and family, a message to you. And you're going to start crying.
You know what? I am worried about it.
So the first one, and I did it, you know, I try to do a friend, a person in the industry, a friend, a person in the industry, so that people can grasp the concept of, I want you to know what people see from you when you play and when you dance, and their thoughts, and not one person had anything negative to say about you, and that's awesome. That's amazing. I almost started to cry on one of them, so I was like, all right, but here we go.
So tell me your name. My name is Ingracia Alvarado, aka Grace, aka Negra. Hi, Negra. Hi, how you doing, Ma? So tell me, what's up with DJ Curly? Oh, DJ Curly, that's my girl, FBR DJ. That's where I met her at. And I have a lot of love for her. A lot of love. I love the way she be playing. She had a sweet heart. You know, she got time for herself and others. And she got a handful of stuff in her life. You know, I appreciate women like that. You know, I honor other women too. You understand? I'm a woman myself. And she loves music. She plays good music. And I follow her. And I follow other DJs also, other women DJs like her. And I'm grateful to meet her. She's in my life today. She's part of my life. In the FDR Amphitheater in New York City. I'm from Brooklyn. Get out. So do you actually dance? Oh, yes, I do. I'm a house head. Yes, I do. I dance, yes. Okay. And I'm always where the speakers are at. Because I like to hear the music that tickles my ears. Drum. Yes, yes. That's me. Grace. Outside of the DJ scene, what else do you know about DJ? Can she cook? Oh my God, that she knows how to cook. She has a family. She takes good care of her mother, and that's very loving. When someone raised you and you look after them, and you grown, and you have your mother alive, she's doing what she's supposed to do, taking care of her mom. I gave her A+, double plus on that one. God bless her for that one. That is awesome. You're welcome, mommy. Amen.
So tell us, what's your name?
Tonto.
Santo. So how do you know Curly?
I know Curly from the park over here. She's we come over here to visit, and I always help her out. Bring her equipment, and she's a good girl. Because good friends in the neighborhood, we take care of our neighborhood and everything like that. That's what she needs. And the good girls and good money and good party.
So what exactly is it that you like about her music? Exactly what is it like?
The beat.
Yeah, the beat. Okay.
The beat, the sound. She has a certain way to her music turn people. So she sees the people and she knows what kind of music she's gonna put in.
So are you traditionally listen to this music, house music? Or
Yes.
do you okay.
I listen to everything. Everything.
Okay. So what message would you tell Curly today that you seen her grow? How long do you know her for?
Maybe something like 7 years.
7, okay. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And how have you seen her progress from 7 years ago to now?
The rest, much better.
Really?
Much better.
Okay.
Now she's getting more gigs and everything like that. She's getting a bigger band.
Okay.
So, she's getting more gigs now. So,
Is there a personal message you want to give to her today?
Nancy, Curly, just keep doing what you're doing.
Curly, just keep doing what you're doing. Words of Tonto.
Yes. Thank you so much, man. I mean,
There's more. More important, there's more. So the next message is 8 minutes long. So if you have to do something, go ahead and do it. But it's a person that you mentioned in the previous segment. And you probably didn't want to know what he said, but he had only but good things to say about you.
You can just tell me a little bit about DJ Curly, how you met.
Well, we met through a mutual friend.
Okay.
He was just here a little while ago. His name is Chino.
Oh, okay.
We got
Chino 3?
introduced. Chino 3.
Yeah.
I met Curly at a party. It was called Dat Party.
Yes.
The Dat Party. I've never been to them, but I was invited by her ex-boyfriend Drew Tiz, who's also another DJ slash producer, great friend of mine, and he introduced me to Curly. Although I seen Curly because I'm from the Lower East Side myself, so I've seen Curly forever.
You're not Danny. Private.
No, my name is Ace.
Ace, sorry.
So I've always seen her dancing, loved the way she danced, but never knew her. Until one day I went to 6th Avenue, 14th Street at that party on the 2nd floor, and it was her and her sister working the front.
Okay.
Taking in the money as she come in. So I paid, I met her. And at the time she was going out with my friend, like I said, she was going out with my friend Drew Tiz, who introduced me to her. That's how I met Curly.
Okay.
And then we started hanging out, going places, and to the club together a lot. And then we started doing outdoor events with a friend of mine, named Hector House Nation, who was the founder of House Nation Parties.
Right.
And we did this back in the early 80s.
Wow.
We did parties everywhere. And that's why these House Nation Parties were the parties that were the party of New York City.
Okay.
And we used to be in Curly, we've been out a lot, man. And to be honest, I was the one who taught her how to play.
Really? Okay.
She always, like I said before, she's a great dancer, always been a great dancer. But she always kind of felt that she could play music. And I told her seriously, you want to play music? Do you really feel that in your heart? Do you really feel it here? Do you really feel that you can do this? She goes, yeah, I can do it. I know I can feel it. I said, all right, no problem. Let's get it done. This is how it's done. This is the pitch control. This is the beats per minute. This is what you're going to look for. This is when you're going to come in, come out of the mix. And she was doing pretty good. And she got better. She kept practicing at my mom's house. I would let her bring my equipment. She got really good. And then we started playing on the website called Pre-Party Radio many years ago.
Right.
I'm not sure if you remember that one.
You told me about
She started Pre-Party Radio. And she had her own show,
Okay.
The Sounds of a Dancer. And I had my own show. It was called The Cookie Jar, of course.
Right.
And every Wednesday she'll get on and she'll have a massive crowd because she was that good. She was getting really well. And of course, I will feed her the music. I give a lot of music so she can go out and do her thing. But then it came to the point where she goes, Ace, I want to learn how to play vinyl. I'm like, yeah, you want to learn how to play vinyl? Oh, it's like the same like digital. It's similar to what digital, what you doing with the digital file. Because you all you have to do is put the beats together, match it together yourself in your mind. You have to listen to the music. You have to beat match yourself. You have to do that. So in order for you to do that, you have to use the pitch control on the unit. So the CDJs have a pitch control. That's how I taught her. I told her, I'm going to teach you how to DJ for real. Not with a laptop, not with a sequence button, because the computer is doing everything for you, and you look awesome. But in reality, you're not learning anything. Because if somebody calls you out to DJ, and you don't see a laptop anywhere, and you got a DJ, and you got to mix that record yourself, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be a train wreck from hell. And I got to go to a whole mess, and people are going to turn around and go like, and you're going to be embarrassed. You don't want that. So you go, no, I want you to teach me the right way, and I did. But when it came time to teach them with vinyl, oh, you got to be there. I said, okay, Curly, there's the vinyl, pick up the needle, put it on the record, and you hit the square buttons, the stop and stop buttons for the turntable. This is your pitch control. Go ahead and do it. I mean, be honest. You picked up the needle, just like this. I said, Curly, nice and gently now. And she's sweating. Her whole back is wet with sweat. She will tell you, her whole back is sweating. I said, Curly, you're right. Stop. Just stop. What's wrong? I never played vinyl. I know, but it's no big deal. You're going to put the needle on the record. You're going to press play, and you're going to let it play.
And she mentioned the needle on the record.
Yes, she mentioned that. So I said, just let it play. And before you know it, you'll get it. It's just like the CDJs.
Right.
The thing is, you're going to play with vinyl now. Don't press too hard down on the record because you're going to make the needle jump. If you do that, that's a disaster. So she kept coming to the house. She kept practicing. I kept showing her. She kept practicing. Before you know it, she's a pro now. She mastered. She mastered the vinyl, and she mastered the CDJs, and she mastered how to mix music. And I also not just taught her how to put mixed music together, but I also taught her how to blend in two records that has the same exact note. What I mean by the note, the bass line on the record is on a certain note. So this vocal could be on a higher note, different note. It might not sound right. To you, it could sound, yeah. But when you match that note of the vocals with that bass line and the strings and whatever, you can do magic things. And you can do magic mixes, and people look at you and be like, what is that mix? Is that a remix? You'd be like, no, that wasn't a remix. That's actually the best time of this record and the vocal for this girl, but they have the same notes. They match it. It sounds it's how they belong together.
Right.
It's just like when you go into a studio and you're working on a track, you're singing it and you're studying it, and they say, okay, let's change that, let's add this, let's bring it up a notch, and I bring them up.
So you actually become a producer at this point when you're mixing it like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and when you know notes of the notes of a music, you can blend in two records that has the same notes and make them sound like one and make it sound beautiful, and it becomes amazing. And you become that better DJ, amazing DJ. I've always told her, explore. Practice every day. Everyday practice. Explore, do something different. Don't do the same thing other people are doing. Be your own, be yourself. Create your own mixes. Go crazy, it doesn't matter. If it don't sound good, fine, stop it. Put another record in there.
Right.
Until you get something. And when you get something, remember that's what you got.
Right. So
That's how I was. Nobody taught me how to DJ.
How long have you been DJing?
I've been DJing since I was 14 years old.
And you don't want to say how long that's been?
I don't know, over 30 years. I'm 55 now.
Okay, all right.
So I'm like, it's a long time.
Yeah, I'm 51.
Yeah. I don't mind saying my age. I'm 55.
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy. Strong still.
Hell yeah.
I feel good. And I've been playing since I was 14.
Since 30 years?
No, it hasn't been 30 years. For her, it's maybe been, I would say, 15 years, maybe.
Okay. That's a long time.
It's a long time. No, it's a long time.
Because I know she took a gap.
Yeah, she took a hiatus and then she came back.
Okay.
Once you know, it's like riding a bike. Like that saying, hey, once you know how to ride a bike, you're gonna ride a bike. You'll be a little rusty, but you get it again.
Right.
With her, it's just that all she has to do, and I keep telling her that, practice every day. Do not accept when you make a mistake, because she does. I'm gonna tell you this. When she makes a mistake, she backs up and she laughs about it. And I say, that's not funny. No, it's nothing. Nobody really knows. I don't care if nobody knows. I did. And if I'm teaching you, and you go around telling people that I am teaching you, I'm not teaching you that. I'm not teaching you how to mess. a train wreck, like they say, a train wreck, you know? I teach you how to do things right. So keep doing it right, keep practicing, become that real great DJ. Be flawless. That's it.
Do you think she's flawless right now?
She was flawless a little while ago.
Yeah, she was.
She was flawless a little while ago. Yeah.
Well, Ace, thank you so much.
Greatly.
Thank you for sharing that experience with me.
Happy to do so.
Look at her.
She's looking at us. You know we're talking about her.
That was hilarious.
That is a funny. That was crazy. I mean, yo, he was something else, though. I gotta say, he was very
patient,
very persistent, very vocal about the way I mix. He was very particular about it. You know, he was, and I have to say that I really, really appreciated that, even though I argued with him so many times. And no, I got this, and because you have to take the wheel eventually, like, and say, this is my realm now. I'm driving. I got my license and registration. But meanwhile, he was still trying to tell me, no, you're wrong. Or, you know, he'll even like push my arm away from the record and say, yo, do that again. You know, mix it again, or find it. Like, so, you know, but he was absolutely right about everything he said. I was sweating. I was actually and I could pretty much remember I was at Elvin Reyes's home, and Steve Martinez and the Martinez brothers were there. So it was just crazy when they was like, yeah, put the needle on the record. Meanwhile, you got all these people behind you, and I'm literally drenched from the back. Like, yo, and they was like, calm down. It's just no. Because, you know, you hear stories about how much some needles cost. You just don't take any needle and you just put it on a record, because especially if they're like $1,000 needles, you know. So I was very particular because I'm dealing with people with analog and this great system and beautiful turntables. And so, yeah, I will never forget those moments. Never.
This next person is dear to you, very close. And his message almost made me cry because I think he's a wonderful person. But, you know, I learned a lot by asking other DJs about DJs, you know, because I'm not a DJ. I'm not trying to be a DJ. And I thought it was really interesting, the conversations and the responses. So this one in particular is a general statement. So I don't want anyone, you know, to think that this is targeted to anyone in particular. I don't want anyone to think that this is a general statement from experienced DJs versus the incoming new DJs. And it's just a general statement, okay? So here we go.
She's music orientated, you know, from the first time I met her. So it's difficult for me. I don't want to say just 3 words. I just want to say about her. It's difficult for me because, you know, I left the scene like 25 years and I came back. And not many doors were opening. You know what I mean? It was Antonio, Curly, and Ace House Nation. They were one of the few that opened the door and said, I want you to come play with me, without even knowing who I was. And that's big in my book, because, you know, if you don't know me and you want to collaborate with me, you know what I'm saying? You didn't judge me by my cover or nothing like that, but you knew. But once we got together, you know, it was a beautiful thing. And as for Curly, you know, she been in the industry for a minute, you know what I'm saying? And people don't want to respect that, you know what I mean? There's a lot of new DJs coming up in the scene, whereas the technology has helped them in such a way.
Right.
They ain't paid their way, you know what I mean, like she has. And a lot of old DJs that been paying their ways. Like, you know, if you come from turntable, you coming from afar. You know what I mean? A lot of these people, these new technology is helping them. I'm not hating. Misunderstand. At the end of the day, you want to make everybody dance. But don't try to block somebody that's been in the game for a minute You know what I mean? And just because you shining right now, you want to put us on the back burner. I got a problem with that. You follow what I'm saying? So that's all. But she opened her doors to me, and I appreciate her every single time. You know what I mean? Just the person that she is.
Just the person that you are. A big-hearted person. You have
Well,
4 hearts now.
Chrome, I really appreciate that, Chrome. Really, I mean, I am just totally humbled by just a little bit that's here, because inspiration comes a long way, and you know why? It doesn't have to necessarily be another DJ that inspired me. It's just people in general that just continue to just motivate me to stay humble and stay real and as real as it gets. I'm just happy that I have a rooting crew behind me, and I appreciate that.
And
Thank you.
speaking of a rooting crew behind you, this person is a stalker.
A stalker? Oh boy.
It's not who she is, it's what she is. I love the house music she plays. Listen, all I know is I've been following her around the country. I just came from South Carolina last week. Oh shit, wait, you was there?
Otra vez.
Oye, mira, stop stalking me. No. So anyway, so I like my friends, my DJs, and I support everybody. And I actually this year I want to get out of the city, and if they're here, they're there. I want to go and support them. So that's my, and Curly, I told her, I said, you better give me your goddamn schedule. So 9/11, I'll be in Texas, San Antonio with, don't tell me you'll be there too. Get out. That's it. You know what? That's it. I'm out, bro. No, I'm sorry, man.
Listen, your friends are hilarious. I love them. But he was in South Carolina, and he did faint from the heat. Because he's the comandante.
Yeah. Oh man, he's a
But he said, wherever you will be, I will be there. And I thought that was very important for you to know.
And he has every time he is, and I'm gonna be somewhere. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, there's days that people can't make it, and there's days that people can. But Carlos made it his business to make it South Carolina, and I was like, he did. And of course, the people that definitely came out to South Carolina, Dave Thomas, Sandra Dancer. I mean, I'm always gonna. Those are things that I guess, and I have to say, because it's just so touching when you get people from your own backyard supporting you in far places. And I know that everybody feels good about that, because it does really feel good. But it's not easy. It really isn't. But I appreciate the people who really do and who has come out for me. Really, I really do.
You have great friends and great followers, and you should be proud of that.
I'm totally overwhelmed right now by it, because people know me. I could be a hardcore. I could be tough when I want to, but when it comes to all of this music, I'm just in love with it, and I'm just glad that I'm touching people. I'm touching people from here, from far. I get all the messages.
And speaking of touching people, not in that way, but this person expressed that because of you, they were almost going to quit DJing. And because of your encouragement to continue doing it, they continued.
Parties, and
So you met her as a dancer?
As a dancer, yeah. And then one day I saw her in Coney Island, and I went and introduced myself to her. And she was a big help during my divorce procedure, because she pushed me to go back into the music business and DJing, and she introduced me to a lot of people, which are good friends now. And that's how I met her.
as a female DJ?
Oh, we've worked together before, and people seem to like our collaborations together. They say we mix well together.
Okay.
And her. She's like a sister to me now.
Have you ever done a battle? Like,
No.
you know, both of you together? Is that something that you may do? Like, not a battle, but you know, like you both really work.
Maybe in the future.
Try it.
Yeah.
Something new. So what do you think as a woman? Do you treat her as a DJ? Did it ever even occur to you? Like, have some people come to you and say, hey, you know, she's a chick. No? Same? Okay, good. Anything else that you would like to tell her personally?
She's a caring, good person. She's very helpful. If you need any type of help, she's always available. That's the type of person
So
she is.
has she built your speakers?
No.
No, not yet.
Those are mine. I built those.
So you build your own as well? So do you think she's learned from you guys also, or?
I think she's taken a couple of pointers from everyone.
Okay. And where do you see her moving forward? Like, do you see her doing her thing somewhere else? Like, now that COVID is over, kinda.
Well, she's been around before to different countries also. So, yeah,
Have you been with her?
No. Oh, one time I went, to another state,
Okay. Is there anything that you would do together as like a business partner or anything?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. What's your name again?
Antonio Estrella.
Antonio Estrella.
Antonio Estrella.
Yes, Antonio. Let me tell you.
Great DJ.
Everybody's gonna go through meeting people, and not everybody you're gonna be able to work with, because not everybody's workable with. Not everybody gets along in certain aspects, because people think differently, and this is fine. And before Ace took hibernation, because Ace was one of the first ones who started the party at FDR Drive. And then it went on, and then Ace took hibernation. I just continued to do the parties. And then Antonio came along, and then I started to do Riverbank State Park. And that's when Antonio and I wind up doing a lot of collaborations together. Because I love to collaborate with people. It's not just about me doing a party. I like to have other people. It's just more welcoming when you're dealing with more than one. So I've always tried to work with other people, but Antonio's has been one of the ones who's been with me for the last several years on most of my gigs. And then, of course, you have Keith Porter, and that's my backyard buddy, because we do a lot of stuff, with the community.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm always trying to work with somebody. Now, the question is, working with me, I don't know. Some people just don't. But I'm okay. I'm just happy that
you're workable.
I know I am, but I'm just saying, in general, I'm very flexible. I'm open-minded about everything. I just find myself doing too many things all at once, because sometimes I want to be that DJ, but I'm not, because I'm throwing the party. So now I'm hosting, and then I'm always cooking, so I want to feed somebody, and then I'm making something, so I want to sell something. So I'm just like all over the place, but I am just grateful.
And the next shout out is from someone who, got us all happy at the park the other day.
Okay.
And he had great things to say about you.
All right.
Shirley, she deals with a lot of good DJs I know. But I'm from the lower. So being that she's a female artist, I'm gonna support her wherever. And she rocks. She got a good followers, good network, and
how long do you know her for?
Probably I know her for 5 years, but we know each other longer than that, because I'm rock steady. Okay. I'm Spider from rock steady crew, one of the original. breakdancers for Rocksteady Crew. But I know many people that know her and love her, and she's awesome. And she's a female, putting in that work, you know, and much love to her for that, you know, because women gotta put that work in to show people, hey,
double the work.
that's right. But it's all good,
Right.
you know, because you know what? She don't need to put all that work in no more, because she already built that good network of people and the fans that love her, and we all here for her, all alive.
What's your name again?
My name is, they call me Izzy, Israel, but I'm Spider from Rocksteady Crew. Chino, a.k.a.
Chino, aka Rocksteady.
Rock
We had a
steady.
Rocksteady person up at that party.
And we're talking about back in the 90s. I used to hang up uptown, do Rocksteady. I mean, I was even grateful to even come across a lot of them, the dancers from Rocksteady. And you know what? It's like I said, I was very universal. So I was able to go anywhere. And when it comes to dancing, you're pretty much universal.
Right.
Because if you can dance, you're pretty much in there. But then you have other people. But yeah, he definitely Rocksteady all the way, and God bless him. And yeah, he's been very supportive since he moved to the Lower East Side, and we became very close. And he knew that I was part of back then the dancers. So
And
we
he's
always,
very handsome.
very handsome, you know, and he does his thing, you know. He's a survivor just as much, you know. So
Yes,
I
absolutely.
I give him much love and respect. But thank you, Izzy. I appreciate that. Really, really do.
So
I'm
this
just like
this this next person had a lot of serious stuff to say about you. I don't know how you're gonna take it, but let's hear it.
Curly. I met her back in like around 95, 96 at the bar. Saw her dancing. Girl can move. Definitely can move. And I seen her grow from being a dancer to now being a DJ. And, you know, my personal opinion, you know, out of all the female DJs out there, she kills it the most for me. You know, and it's not because I actually know her and that she actually supports my records.
Okay.
That she actually
Fair
put the time in. She actually put the time in and learn the craft. You know, to be up there and actually say, hey, fellas, you need to move out the way. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of dudes out there that are haters that will not ever say that. I'm actually one of them. You know, there's a lot of female DJs that I'm like, we need to work on it. There's some young cats that are out there. I don't want to say boys, but they're young, that need to learn their craft as well. Curly's past that. So, you know, it's always been a pleasure to play, you know, side by side with her. She's introduced me to other people that I've never met, you know, guys like Ace and stuff like that, that brought me into a whole different culture. And in return, she's also brought my music into a different culture. So, you know, she's been a blessing to me. I've never had an issue, so.
And where do you see her going from now? Like, do you see her at her peak, or you think she's gonna go far and beyond now, or?
Knowing her soul, there is no peak.
Okay. She's been at it.
She's been at it.
Okay.
So,
right.
you know, every DJ will never say that they're good about themselves. They'll look at somebody else and say, oh my God, that person killed it, you know? They'll never look at themselves like that. So I could see it in herself. She loves the music, but her skill level, she'll never be satisfied with. And that's one DJ from another DJ. We're just never satisfied. So where you hear her now, if you think this is her peak, listen to her next year and the year after that and the year after that. She will definitely progress.
All right. Well, thank you.
wow. Jeremiah Santiago, wow. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome
You know,
message.
that's very touching. It really is. I mean, he is definitely an inspiring producer with some amazing music. And, you know, the way we met through my ex as well. However, we've always kept in touch, and I've always respected him, and he's always respected my area, he's always been a particular individual that you just have to just get to know, because sometimes features and faces, and you want to pull back. That's why I say you never judge anybody by his cover until you get to know somebody. And when I got to,
Absolutely.
so I finally got to have a conversation with him. Like, wow, we finally get to talk, and it's been nothing but pure joy. It's been respectful, and and I appreciate that. Because you know what, I get people that tell me in my ear, yo, all right, don't do that, don't do this, yo, stick on your game. And he was always one of them to just keep saying, yo, keep doing it, don't stop. And you know what, I'm not right now. I'm not. Other things are coming in place, so I'm just grateful.
Right now, you can't, because I'm
Oh, I
not gonna
know.
let you.
Oh no, you know what? Let's not get it twisted, because I am human just like anybody else.
Right.
I go through my emotional impacts just like anybody else. And there's days where I just want to say, F it up. I don't want to deal with this no more. But then I always get this little guardian angel that comes on my shoulder and say, it's not over yet. It's not. So it's not. And I just keep getting motivated and motivated even more so
Of
right
course.
now.
And with all the stuff that you've been through, really, Curly, you like you can't.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you are where you're at now, because you need to continue to share that love that you have.
Well, I will hope to inspire more, you know, um, especially now in these times lately, it's just
Yeah.
been like, I would have to say the pandemic has a lot to do with what's going on in the universe right now, because everybody was put on a hold. Everyone, not just everyone, had to put themselves on a hold for a whole year of stuff that they weren't ready for, or I wasn't ready for, we weren't ready for.
Absolutely.
And the pandemic had taught me much more of a bonding situation than letting go of a situation, because we lost a lot of people. And to come out now, and everybody's coming out as if now, like as if nothing really happened, because that's just the way the world works. We just like we do something, we go through it, and all of a sudden something else comes in and we forgot what happened. I can't. This pandemic, I will never forget what happened, what has gone through, what the transitions were. And today, to come out and be able to share, some have taken it to a different level of not even with remorse, or anything that ever happened in the pandemic was important. And for us to knock down anyone, not the time, nor the place, and not for a good reason. There's got to be reasons for that. And yeah, it draws me that to see certain things happening right now. All I can say is that I will continue to support and inspire as much as I possibly
Oh
can.
well, we still have two more people, two more messages. I'm like, this ain't no closing.
I know, and it's not a closing, but it's
no. I hear what you're saying,
and
the message.
There's a lesson to everything, and just listening to the people just talk, because I barely go around asking about, hey, what do you feel about me? It's not something you do, but in the same token, it feels good to know that there is some inspiring words out there. And, I just really hope that it just continues to be positive and not negative. That's all.
It's going to be. I mean, you have to surround yourself with positive people all the time.
Yeah,
and that's
as
important.
much as we try to,
I
you're
hear you.
always gonna go into an area you're not supposed to be in. Let's put it that way. But it's because you need to learn something in that, and then get yourself and then put yourself right back on track. Because you're always gonna get like a sliding merge,
Detour.
a merge, like a merging where you merge and then you gotta merge right back in. So it's all in the individual, to be honest.
So this person, because I like to leave. There's two more. The last one is the best, but this person had only great things to say. The last statement was it for me, but here's
Oh, from the same neighborhood, pretty much. And we're about the music. And Lisa was a dancer, just like myself. And we were just like interwoven, like we still are. I mean, I'm very proud of what she's done with music, and I wanted to continue striving and continue reaching for what it is that we all want to reach for, which is, notoriety, a little fame, maybe make some money, but most of all, show love to everybody.
Good. So your name again is Chino 3?
My name is Chino 3.
Well, how did you get that name, Chino 3? You're like the third Chino in the neighborhood?
I'm an old graffiti writer, and we had to pick names and we had to pick numbers, so I decided to go with 3. I'm third born Chinese Puerto Rican.
Nice. Thank you so much, Chino.
Well, Lisa, keep dancing, okay? That's what keeps you young. Keep spinning. That also keeps us moving.
Thank you.
keep dancing. That's what keeps us young, and
Let me
keep
tell you
spinning because that keeps us
And you know
moving.
what? Chino 3 is my man. Let me tell you something. Me and Chino 3 and George, we got history on the dance floor. We definitely got history on the dance floor. I got the scars on my chin to remember the back bends that they try to teach me, and I scraped my chin in the process. And you know what, Chino 3 and I, and like many others, have been through the trials and tribulations of life, and we are still here to stand by it. And you know what? Yo, Chino 3, you gotta see him dance too. Because even at his age, he's still doing it. But I appreciate him so much. So thank you, Chino. Really, from the bottom of my heart. Elias all the way. Thank you so much. Really touching.
Thank you. Yeah.
I owe you one, Wanda.
You owe me nothing, young lady. Listen, I learned from you.
I don't know, but I really am grateful. Yeah. I'm trying to keep the tears up. Like, hold on. I'm trying to keep it up because it's a touching subject. It's touching. Thank you.
I know. So this last person, listen, Linda.
That's my sweetheart.
I love Linda.
Linda
and you kept asking her, did she come and interview you? Did she come to talk to you? And I think Linda wanted me to do it earlier than later because she really wanted to go home. But here's your beautiful Linda.
So your name is Linda. How long have you known Curly?
11 years.
11 years. So were you a dancer also, or you just followed her?
I just followed her. Well, we live close by to each other, yeah.
So your neighbors?
Yeah, I live on one side and she lives on the other, yeah.
Did you see her grow up in the same?
Oh, no. I only moved to Manhattan 11 years ago, so that's how I met Curly from coming here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you come here often?
Yeah.
And you listen to her music? Are you a house cat or you just...
I never was, but now I am.
Really? Okay.
I've been now, say 10 years now, house.
Okay.
I used to like oldies.
Really? How old?
I'm going to be 75.
Wow, Linda, really?
Oh, I'm on...
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. And so how do you see this generation? Because
I love it.
Okay. Very alive, very energetic.
Yes.
So where did you come from, Milena?
I was born in Canada.
You're Canadian.
Yeah.
Hey.
You're Canadian?
No, I'm not, but it's coming here specifically?
Because I moved over here.
Okay.
Well, he lived in the building. We're together 10 years.
Okay.
No, we're going to be together 13 years in September. And he lived in the building before I lived. We're together 13 years, but we live in separate apartments.
Okay.
I'm smart.
No, I know you are.
The same floor, 3 doors away.
So you know Curly by her music. Well, as a female DJ, were you surprised?
Surprised what?
That she's a female DJ and how she plays and you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoy her. Yeah, I really enjoy. I love her.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do.
Have you danced to her music or?
Well, before I had my back injury and that, I used to dance, but I can't dance no more. I just sit in my chair and go like
There you go. I just shimmy, shimmy.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Do you have any message for Curly?
What?
Do you have a message for Curly?
That I love her with all my heart and I'll always be here. I'll be here for her.
Okay. Thank you so much, Linda,
You're welcome.
for your message.
You're welcome.
And I'm hoping that, you can enjoy more of her music.
I will.
And let's hope that this park does not close.
Oh, I hope not.
And if it does, for whatever reason, that we can find a new place for Curly. And maybe that will, all of us get it together to help her with that. That would be awesome.
But I really, like you said, I don't think she really knows how good she is. It's true. She really is good.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't really think she knows how good she is.
I never, you know me. I mean, people know I just enjoy what I do.
I know.
And I love Linda. When I met them, they were so opening. Cause I would go when I started doing East River Park, it's like I have a conversation and say, hey, I'm having a party in the park. Hi, how are you? I'm having a party in the park. Hi, hey, I'm a DJ. I'm having a party in the park. And Linda and Tonto were always from the bottom of my heart. They have been there since day one. And I just admire them. They're always very supportive and it's hard to find people that way, but I love you guys. Thank you. Really. Everybody, even for those that don't even talk loud enough for people to hear, I know who you are and I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. It's a tough job out there and, you're going to get hit in certain places where you think, or you're going to be shocked by certain people's attitudes and thoughts and theories.
Right.
The only thing I can tell you guys or ladies, if, keep your head up. Don't allow anybody to knock you down. And, just be very observant because you learn from others. You really do. I didn't learn DJing by myself. I'm an observer. I've gotten top names that hit me up and tell me, you pay attention and then you learn and you take it from there. But it's really on the individual, so you can't force anybody. But all I know is that I'm in a journey that I'm enjoying. And I told everybody from day one, if you go back to my MySpace, which is where, we had MySpace.
Ooh, she took it to MySpace.
I was like, listen, I'm going to do a journey, whether it be good, bad, ugly, you're going to see it because this, without that, you're never going to balance out anyway because there's no such thing as just all good because there's some bad that balances out. But I'm grateful. I'm just grateful. I really am. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to get to speak about myself and some people to get to know me better, and I'm looking forward to more and better things, I really am.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I think you're awesome. I thank you for teaching me a lot about this industry, the difficulties, especially as a woman. Salty Coffee is a podcast to empower each other, and it has to be all positive on this podcast. It has to.
Yeah, no, you know why? Because like I said, not everything is positive and we want to remain positive. But we just have to balance out. It's all about balancing out because
Right.
I am not perfect. I am not a saint, but I am just grateful for just being me and everybody that has been very supportive towards me, for whatever reason, and some of us may not think differently, but I am just grateful that we haven't become like, it hasn't been like I don't know how to say it, but I'm just grateful that it hasn't gotten too ugly. There's been a pause in between,
Right.
but I'm just grateful, and I just want to say thank you, and thank you. Really, I say thank you all the time, but
I know.
I really do appreciate that.
So I also want you to talk a little bit about the East River Park, and I'm gonna put a little if it's closing, what's happening on the East River Park.
Okay, well, because of all right. So for many years, East River has had issues with water when it rises and storms. That in certain places on the Lower East Side, you have areas where the water comes in, so now they want to do like a landfill, like build a wall that's gonna kind of like change the climate, the water, how
The
it
water
runs,
flow.
but water gets anywhere. However, they want to landfill it. And we don't agree on the landfilling because that place is so 19, what, 40s, you said, 50s?
1941 it was built, yeah.
It was built, and there's so much entailed in roots, and everybody has something in their neighborhood that just you want to
Right.
keep it pure. You want to keep it the way. All right, maybe some things can be worked on, but you don't have to change the whole park
Right. And
because
remove it. Like
and
they're literally
remove it.
yeah, they're
Right, they
literally
want to landfill it, so that means they take the whole amphitheater
right.
away. And for like 2 years, I've been promoting the party like this is gonna our last year. This is our last year, but that's how they keep presenting it to us. And I hate to keep saying it's the last, it's the last, it's the last, but now they're really saying that no more permits after October after my last permit, which is for the Halloween party, and that's it. So supposedly construction starts. Um, so we're really, really trying very hard in whatever constructions they can do to upgrade the park, which is grateful, but to change the whole, we're trying to really fight that. So right now, there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on in reference. I'm not more into the politics of it,
Right.
but because I'm the local DJ and I've been doing a party there for the last 14 years, I've been emphasizing on how we can try to save the park, but we can only do but so much. Um, so we have a couple of concerts coming up to do that, and I'm grateful that I'm gonna be a part of one of them, which is September 3rd, which I'll keep people posted. But September 3rd is a Save the Park Day. I have a concert, some music. Myself and John Mateo will be playing some music. But otherwise, we're just going on a day by day basis when it comes to the park and whatever political BS that's going on behind it, because it's more like we understand we have to change and make things better, but there's just some things you just gotta leave alone. We
Right.
have 150-year-old trees in there. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's not my roots; it's other people's roots that are stuck on that park, and we're just hoping that they come to a conclusion of something that's reasonable for all of us,
Right.
to enjoy. But I'm not happy with the fact that they want to take the whole amphitheater out, you know. But we don't know. I wouldn't know, to be honest, what's going to really happen.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely help you promote any flyers, any information and sharing information. I will definitely put the information on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and specifically Spotify, Anchor, Radio Public, Google Podcast, and Did I say Radio Public?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many. I'm not sure.
I know.
I'm like,
Yeah, there's so many to name.
yeah.
But yeah, we're just hoping that some miracle happens, that they don't have to really take the amphitheater out, because the rest is just, constructional stuff that they can probably
Right.
fix,
Right.
or even build the glass wall if you have to, but don't have to take but you know what? Mother Nature's strong, so we're just hoping that, something can be reasonably.
And if not a relocation, within the same
Yeah,
neighborhood,
that's going to be
something.
a
Yeah.
hard one to
I
have
know.
the view that we have. And, I'm grateful that I work with Riverbank State Park, which is on the west side of town. However, I still need to represent the Lower East Side, something in my backyard. So I'm just going to take it day by day. And hopefully they'll have a nice location where it's by the water. I know of a location that I would like to do it in, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait before they before I can even implement it. But I'm hoping that it's available. But
whatever help we can do, just let us know.
yeah, I'm though that know me. I'm definitely gonna be letting people know. I'm like everywhere. I have a conversation. I'll be like, oh, by the way, oh, by the way, I do that.
I know you do.
I do that a lot. I mean, it's the only way you're gonna get,
things done. Do you have any other advice for a newer or an experienced DJ? Any words of wisdom?
The only thing I can tell you, if you're now starting this journey, keep yourself at a positive note. And why I say that is because in anything you do in life, you're always going to bump into something that's going to cause you or make you feel that you can't do better. And that shouldn't be a factor. That shouldn't be, you're always, jealousy, I don't want to call it hate, because it shouldn't be a hate word in this. Because it's just more of being inspired to do more, but to hate on it, you shouldn't, because it makes no sense. Really, it don't make no sense, especially if it's not officially affecting you and touching you and doing some harm to you. Then you shouldn't be hating on nobody. Okay, you're probably just admiring. I admire a couple of people out there, but I don't hate. However, what I do hate is when you want to pretend to do something and you're not. And that could be anything you do. Because it doesn't make no sense. It really doesn't. All I can just tell you is just stay positive, be humble. There's always another door to go through. Do not always think that there's only one door or there's only one opportunity. There isn't. There's many opportunities. There are plenty of space for everybody. Right. It's not just, but the circle is but so big in certain communities, which is house. House is but so big, but it's really, there's a lot of opportunity out there. So enjoy it all, absorb it, and as long as you're loving it, then everything else will be fine. But if you find yourself in a difficult, then maybe you need to rethink it. Rethink it. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe something else is for you. But some of us won't know until you really put your foot in it and you're really sticking with it, because, not all of us can determine where we want by the first mistake. So whatever you do, give yourself hope and always say to yourself that it's going to get better if you really, really want it. You really
and that message is really for everyone.
It is.
That's just not even for DJ.
That's
for
everyone. That's a general. That has nothing to do with DJ. It has to do with anything you do. Anything. You could be dancing, a gymnastics, a basketball player, a football player. You're always going to get something that's going to block you or say something, or somebody's going to say something. And let me just be clear, because word of mouth is very, very powerful. Word of mouth. However, it is not fair that you want to use your word of mouth to make other people feel different about somebody else. That is not right. I don't care who you are, because it makes no sense. Anybody's going to take the direction of whatever it is, but please don't knock nobody down. Don't knock it, because the circle's but so big. It really is. So please watch what you say and who you say it to, because it's going to backlash and it's not going to be a happy scenery. So, like I said, enjoy everything you could possibly do. You're the only one that puts the pillow on your head at night and you wake up. So please just remember, just be humble. Be humble. I love you guys, really.
And we
I,
and we
Go ahead.
no we oh snap.
It's just a touching subject, you know. It really is.
It is.
It's
It is.
really
I
hard.
can see
It,
that
it
it
really
affects
is
you,
hard
yeah.
because you know, you learn as you go. You really
Yeah.
do. You learn as you go, and you appreciate the things that come. But it's really sad when you gotta take from someone. You know, don't do that. Don't do it. Just take yours. Do what you gotta do for you. Apply it to you, and
Right.
that's all that matters to you. As long as you're doing you, forget about everybody else. Because if you do that, then you'll be worried about everything. So
That's a great lesson for me as a podcaster, for anyone who's listening, and I appreciate that, from young to old to, Linda's shimmy on a
yeah,
chair.
no, we have a
Yeah.
lot to learn from each other. We
Hmm.
really do. We
Yeah.
have so much. Some people don't have one part, but somebody else has that. And
Right.
that's how you make the molding of whatever you plan to
Absolutely.
do. And
Yeah.
there's room for everybody. Just enjoy each other's company. But some of us, are somewhere else.
Yeah. So how did you like the salty coffee experience?
It was
Was-
totally amazing. I am totally overwhelmed from all the stuff that you were able to do in such a short time. I've only met you. Yes, you've been following me on my shows, and I know that. But to physically meet you 2 weeks ago and then to come, this was amazing. And I really, really appreciate all the time you put out for that.
Thank you.
It doesn't, this is another thing that I say, your podcast, you put your efforts in it. You did what you had to do to make your podcast. You understand? Same thing applies for anybody else that's doing anything else. So I am truly, truly humbled and grateful for everything you have done for me.
And you know what I want to say?
What?
I almost forgot what I was going to say. But the reason why I was able to do this like this is because you are open. You were open. You, from the beginning, I asked you, how far do you want to go? And you're like, I don't have anything to hide. I don't have anything to hide. Like, what? People already know me. And I was like, I love that. I love that. Okay, when do we meet? Well, let's go. Let's do this. So I want to thank you, because you've taught me that now my interview process and the getting to know people process is totally changed. It's a totally game changer. These podcasts have to be almost 2 hours long and not half hour, because you can't really tell a person's story in half hour.
No.
I mean, it would be
And
like
not
a
even
little,
2 hours.
and
But
not even 2 hours.
you got a lot of the
A
root
lot in, yeah.
connections. You did a lot of root connections, because at the end of the day, it becomes that root, and that's what
Right.
makes you who you are. I am nothing no more special than anybody else, except that I take my journey and I apply it to me, and I
Right.
enjoy everything I do. And I'm just grateful that people like you and everybody else that are paying attention to this podcast or would eventually listen to this podcast, that it's okay. That whatever you do in life is you're gonna have some ins and outs, but you continue to stay humble And don't worry about the rest of it, because you know what? It doesn't really apply to you.
Right.
Only if you let it apply to you.
Absolutely.
No.
Curly,
Thank you.
I want to thank you so much for saying yes to Salty Coffee.
Thank you.
We will be in touch forever, because that's what we are. Once you do an interview, we're family. We will be doing a lot together outside of, nothing in collaboration. Just I want
you
to.
know what? And I truly appreciate, because that's another thing. The networking it's important.
Right.
Networking. We come across each other for a reason, and I appreciate, and I just tell everybody that, because sometimes we be wondering, how did we get to a certain situation and why, but there's a reason behind it. We just don't know it.
Right.
But if you think about it and you're open-minded about it, everything is
absolutely
to the world. So I am grateful to knowing you, meeting you, and looking forward to doing other stuff besides music, because you know me, I'm just a.
Did you bring any of your items, at least one or something?
What do you mean, my shirt?
To show your T-shirts, your
No,
mask. No.
I'm at my mom's house, so I really I'm at my mom's. If I was home, I would show you.
But if you don't know Curly, she creates her own T-shirts. She creates her own masks. She sells CDs.
Food. I do it all. I do it all. My mom taught me a lot of stuff,
and I love your stuff. The reflector stuff, I love it.
I appreciate that. I wish I can do more, but I'm just one person, and I am doing the best that I possibly can. And honestly, if it's not because of the continuous support and push for certain things, because it doesn't take me, it takes me and you to do this. Right. And you guys have helped me in such a great deal, even with the marketing piece. It was very hard to get to people. But, I appreciate everybody that's one share here. It adds up.
That's all it takes, too.
And
some people don't realize how important one share. It can do so much for everybody, for all of us.
And that's why I say it's important what you do, what you say, because there's always somebody listening. There's always somebody curious and paying attention. And you know what? I'm just grateful for those people, because, there's some insights that just don't apply to me. But, it is what it is.
So it's going to be 2 hours.
Yes.
So I'm going to let it go.
Wait, if I can kindly just let people know what's happening this month.
Yes.
So on Friday the 16th, myself, Ace House Nation, and Keith Porter, which I have to say are the three main DJs who has done FDR Drive from the beginning. And we're going to have an outdoor event this Friday from 2 to 9. And I'm looking forward to it. Because we as the three DJs have not done that in a minute. So I haven't played with Ace in over 3 years.
Wow.
And Keith Porter has been very busy. That we haven't really done anything like, we've done collaborations together, but we haven't. This is the first time that us three together will be doing something. So I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward. Then the 17th, I'm honored to be awarded this music award, along with 6 other female DJs and 6 other male DJs, because it's a collaboration efforts, acknowledging the men and the women together. So I'm excited about that, that we're going to be together. And then on the 25th, I will be at Far Rockaway. If anybody's interested, with myself, DJ Amir, and 2 other DJs with Mark Blake. So I'm looking forward. And also on July 31st, I'll also be back at Far Rockaway. But I just want to say thank you. And, I'll keep posting all the stuff on my page. And I just want to say thank you. Really, I really do.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for everything you taught me. I've learned so much in what, 3 weeks we known each other? 3 weeks.
Give or take, yep.
That's awesome.
Almost 3 weeks. Wow. But thank you. And I look forward to more of your Sophie podcasts.
Of course.
And I'm definitely looking forward to the people that are going to be coming onto this podcast. And good luck. Good luck. And thank you.
So
Many
on
blessings.
Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, I'm going to add at the end of this episode, the 2 hours, I'm going to add her music. So she gave me a set. So you'll be able to listen to her music on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and Breaker.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And here's a little clip.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Lunes, Ricky Baker, próximo destino, la galaxia. Le gusta el roce, le gusta tanto. Está puesta pa' bellaquear. Hablando de eso, ya se lo canto. Yo sé que quieres más y yo no sé, pero tu actitud me pone a soñar. Me pide más y más hasta que haga calor. Ella quiere jugar al ritmo esta canción. Al ritmo, al ritmo, al ritmo, al ritmo. Se le ve la timidez, engañoso si la ves.
Thank you so much, girl.